Hey guys, it's David from Automotive Press. I'm at the Vancouver Auto Show. There's many different brands represented. But of course, I'm here at the Toyota and also the Lexus booth a little bit later on. I thought it might be kind of fun to talk about what I would change or the request I have for Toyota and Lexus if I had some say in what happens into the near future. So we have the 4Runner here and many other interesting vehicles right here. I'm going to put my wish list of things I want to see happen over the next 2 or 3 years, maybe for the next refresh. And hopefully Toyota or Lexus will listen to me and make some of those changes. So let's start with the 4Runner Trail Hunter here. So we have the beautiful Trail Hunter, one vehicle that I'm still thinking of buying. Not quite sure if I'm willing to sell my Land Cruiser to buy this, but if you guys think I should buy the 4Runner Trail Hunter or the TRD Pro and kind of let go of Land Cruiser, let me know, because I do have that option or opportunity sometime this year. But what would I change or what would I request to Toyota if I had some say in terms of the new 4Runner? Well, of course, all of us want a naturally aspirated V6 engine to be available. That's not going to happen. We know for sure that will not happen, so that request will probably remain unanswered. But you know what? One of the things I want to see change is just keeping things simple. So both Trail Hunter and TRD Pro version of the 4Runner, which is the most desirable versions, are just really too expensive. Especially here in Canada, we're reaching almost $90,000 Canadian. And so what I want them to do is offer us a simpler version with options removed or features removed so that they can lower the price. I think right now it comes fully equipped. It comes one way with everything on the list here. But what about if they made some of the features optional and give us a basic version of the Trail Hunter or the TRD Pro, and I don't know, maybe reduce it by $5,000 or maybe even $7,000 or $8,000. That would be the ideal thing to do. I know they won't do it because of the fact that they need to keep their lineup simple, but that would be my request. I'm happy that they kept the rear sliding window, so obviously I'm happy about that. The other thing is that because the Trail Hunter and TRD Pro only comes in iForce Max with a hybrid, we've got this one big battery space you're taking up. Why not offer a non-hybrid version of a Trail Hunter or TRD Pro? Once again, I doubt that would ever happen, but if they did that, the price can be lowered, and also we can then lower this seating here, and then it'll be more space as well. So that's a couple of things I wish that will happen with 4Runner. Also, the both Tacoma and 4Runner has this dessert intake that feeds air into the engine bay. But this one makes quite a loud intake noise. When you step on the gas and you let it go, it makes a noise, almost like a whistling noise. And it's kind of fun in the beginning, but after a while it gets a little bit tiring. So I want them to revise that and change it. I think there's a way to kind of reduce the noise, but maybe make the snorkel optional on Trail Hunter. That will make sense because not everyone needs that. Moving on to Tacoma, once again, if we can get a V6 engine back in the Tacoma or the 4Runner, that would be the most ideal thing, but that's not going to happen. So what can I suggest? Well, for TRD Pro model, which is especially the case with the Tacoma, we end up with this special suspension on the back of the seat. And while this might be one of the most interesting features of the Tacoma TRD Pro, you can tell it really cuts back on the rear space. And so I want them to have this removed. I don't think people ask for it. No one is going to miss it. Remove this, give us the normal seat, and give us back some space in the rear seating area. That's one request I have from Toyota. And just like 4Runner, give us a simpler version of the Tacoma TRD Pro, Tacoma Trail Hunter, and lower the price so that we can have more access to these vehicles. They're just way too expensive. I know they're fully equipped, and the way they're equipped, maybe it's a fair price, but not everyone needs everything that are standard features right now on the TRD Pros and Trail Hunters. So give us a simpler version of the Tacoma and also the 4Runner as well, so that it can reach more audience. That's my request. Otherwise, I'm pretty happy with what they've done. I think they should change the tires. I think the Falcon Wild Peak tires are better, but we have the Goodyear Wrangler tires. That's always been the case with Tacoma. But here on the 4Runner, we have the Falcon Wild Peak tires. And I think these are actually better tires, a bit more street use. And I wish that this came with the Tacoma. So that's a couple of changes. Let's move on to Tacoma. Well, we talked about Tacoma already enough, so I'm going to leave that alone. Same thing applies to Tacoma I talked about with the 4Runner, which is the desert intake or snorkel we call it. I wish that was optional or make it a little bit quieter. You guys know that I already own a Land Cruiser, which is a 2024 version. I have the first edition, which has a round headlights. And for 2025, they don't have the round headlights for the upgraded models, like on the higher end models. They only have the round headlights for the 1958 base model. And then the higher trim Land Cruiser have the rectangular headlights. So my request would be, please bring the round headlights for the higher trim models, because it looks way better. You don't have to call it first edition. I don't know, call it something else, GR version or something, but give us the round headlights for all the models of the Land Cruiser. And then also maybe a GR Land Cruiser, because they have that in Japan for the 300 series, or maybe even TRD Pro or Trail Hunter version of the Land Cruiser. I know that probably won't happen as well, but it'd be so cool to have a Land Cruiser TRD Pro or Land Cruiser Trail Hunter. That would be so cool. So that would be my request. Again, I wish we had a V6 engine, but that's not the case. They do have V6 engines and diesel engines in other parts of the world for Land Cruiser, not the case with North America. And because we have a hybrid, same as the 4Runner, we have this raised area in the back, which means that we don't have a third seat. Whereas in Asia, in Japan, and elsewhere, because they have naturally aspirated engines or non-hybrid engines, they have a third row available, just like in the GX. So that would be another request. Please give us the option to have non-hybrid or some other engine choices, so we can get a 7-seat passenger version of the Land Cruiser. That would be my choice. Otherwise, I'm pretty happy with what I have, so I'm going to leave it alone, other than what I just mentioned. And by the way, of course, I'm always hoping that Toyota will bring the 70 series to North America. It may never happen, but I love that vehicle, and I hope and I wish that someday the 70 series will come to North America as well. Let's quickly go to Sequoia. I'm driving a Sequoia TRD Pro this week, and I actually love it. It's a really great truck. It's big but beautiful, and of course, all Sequoia has I-Force Max, which is the 3.4 liter twin turbo V6 engine with a hybrid system. Tremendous amount of power and torque. I would think that if they offer the non-hybrid version, which is what Tundra has both hybrid and non-hybrid version. If they can do that for Sequoia and offer a regular gasoline version without the hybrid, it will be cheaper as well. So I want them to bring the cost down, because this one is $107,000 Canadian. This is the capstone, which is the most expensive model, but we're getting up there with the Lexus LX pricing almost. So those are some of the things I want to change. I think they need to upgrade the interior. I always felt that the Tundra and the Sequoia interior is functional, but not necessarily amazing. At this price range, the interior should showcase something a little bit more. The capstone does have a much better interior in terms of materials. I like this white trim package, but it still looks a little bit plasticky to me, and you can still hear squeaky when I hold the door. Same thing in my Sequoia I'm driving this week. When I hold the door handle, it makes the kind of squeaky noise. So the plastic thing, not quite there yet, and I wish they can make some improvements. They'll have to redesign the door handle here so that there isn't a loose piece. So that's my number one request for the Sequoia. Also, same problem in the back. If they offer a non-hybrid version, so there's no battery in the back, then we can also potentially have a larger space, because right now with the hybrid battery, you have this thing that comes up, and therefore the third seat is somewhat restricted, not much space here, and those are changes I want to see happen for Sequoia. By the way, what about Tundra? Like I said, I've owned 2022 Tundra before. That was a TRD Pro. I actually loved it, but what can I expect for changes in the future? Well, I think it's time for a refresh, first of all, maybe in about a year or 2 years' time. So I hope that they'll change the front end, because I like the Sequoia front end better. This is a bit too big and not quite as pretty. So if they put the Sequoia front end in the Tundra, I think it's perfect. And at some point, I want to see the Trail Hunter version of the Tundra, which they did show in the concept format a number of times, but for some reason, they brought the Trail Hunter for Tacoma and also for the 4Runner, but not for a Tundra. So let's see that happen, Toyota. That way Tundra will have even more special meaning to it. Yeah, so lots of interesting things. Let's keep on going. And I know I've spoken about this many times before, but we want the Land Cruiser FJ or Mini Land Cruiser, or whatever you want to call it, to come to North America as well. It's supposed to come out sometime next year in Asia, but let's see if this thing can come to North America, because it will be the most amazing and cool SUV if it does come here. Let's move on to the Toyota booth right here on this side, moving away from the trucks. We have many changes coming up for BZ4X, so that's going to change. And so not much comment there because they're going to make a number of changes. So it's kind of noisy here because so many people are here at the show now. Well, for RAV4, I don't have to make any requests because there is a new RAV4 that's coming. I suspect that it will be introduced sometime this summer, maybe fall or late fall. So there's a whole new RAV4 coming. My suspicion is that the new RAV4 will be hybrid only, or plug-in hybrid, obviously. So let's wait and see until we know more about the new RAV4 before I make suggestions. The only thing I could suggest is that, again, the interior could be a little bit plasticky. So that would be the only hope for the new RAV4, that it's not going to be super tacky looking inside. But you guys know that I own a number of RAV4, including the RAV4 Prime, or plug-in hybrid now it's called. And so looking forward to the change. The Prius is actually quite a beautiful car, really well designed, perhaps best looking Toyota, because it almost has kind of Alfa Romeo Italian design to it. It's a little bit underpowered, so I want to see the power increase in the Prius, but that'll be nice. Also, the back space is also really tight because of the sloping hood. We lost some headroom as well, and those are things that cannot be changed in this iteration, but maybe in the future they can make it a little bit taller, not to make it look like a crossover, but give us a bit more space, give us a little bit more power and torque, and it'll be near perfect, because I love the design of the Prius. Let's keep on moving here, but there's lots of noise here. I really like what they've done with the Camry refresh. I love the front design, although it's looking a lot like Lexus now. They didn't make a lot of changes all over the car, but it is basically a new model, but we call it kind of refresh. It's only hybrid. I want to see them offer a non-hybrid version of Camry, and again, lower the price, give us something simple. That would be my request, but looks like Toyota is moving away from offering base engine models, and everything is being converted to offer with hybrids. So I doubt very much they're going to change anything, but maybe give us a TRD version or GR version of Camry. That would be cool, to have a GR Camry with kind of a lower suspension, a tighter steering feel, and maybe low profile tires and blackout trims. That would be cool. So give us a GR Camry. Don't give us a Nightshade edition. Give us something more sporty. That's my request. The Highlander here, this is a regular Highlander, not the Grand Highlander. It may or may not disappear over the next couple of years as the Grand Highlander kind of takes the stage. But I want them to keep the Highlander, but make the front look like a Grand Highlander, because people still love the Highlander. They sell a lot, but it is definitely looking a little bit old. And so if they can kind of add the front section, or change the front section rather, to make it look more like a Grand Highlander, I think the Highlander still has a long, really good future ahead. So that's my request. They changed from V6 to 2.4 liter turbo a couple of years back. Honestly, I wish they kept the V6. That was very reliable, was a solid engine. Give us back a naturally aspirated engine, and that could be something special for the Highlander, and it will continue to do well if he had a V6 engine, but maybe most people don't really care what's underneath the hood. Here's the Grand Highlander, actually doing well. He had a couple of different recalls, as you guys know, so it hasn't been without any issues. And the quality of the Grand Highlander has been actually quite good. And when I checked the panel fit and panel alignment, really well built in Indiana, Princeton, same as the regular Highlander, but somehow the gaps and the panel fit is different on the Grand Highlander. I think mainly because there's a Lexus version of the Grand Highlander called the Lexus TX, and so I think they kind of matched up the quality and the tolerances for the Grand Highlander compared to Lexus TX, and that's why the quality improved. My only request for the Grand Highlander is to make the plug-in hybrid available. It's not available on the Grand Highlander. You have to buy the TX with the plug-in hybrid, and even for TX, it's very limited. And so far in Canada, the plug-in hybrid version still not available. It is now available in the US under limited quantities. So if they can bring a plug-in hybrid version of a Grand Highlander, well, that would be the car to get. So that's the Grand Highlander. I like the styling and everything. The Sienna is probably due for a big change at some point, but they're not doing anything because they don't want to spend time and energy to update a minivan, which, by the way, is in high demand these days. But it's definitely beginning to look a little bit outdated, even with some of the changes they made this past year. They upgraded the interior and so forth. So it's definitely better than it was before, and it is still selling very well. But give us a little bit more power and torque as well. It feels a little bit underpowered. And at some point, if they decide to update it even more, give us a plug-in hybrid. There should be plug-in hybrid versions of everything in this booth here. That would be ideal. We have the Crown Signia, which is a car I drove last week. And again, my number one request, give us a plug-in hybrid version of the Signia because that's available in Japan under the Estate name. They call it Crown Estate. I love the styling, one of the best looking crossovers, period. But it feels underpowered with a regular 2.5 liter hybrid system. It's the same setup that you find in RAV4 hybrid, and actually the engine and the driving feel is very similar to the RAV4 hybrid. So I want to see them offer either the 2.4 turbo engine on this one or 2.4 turbo with hybrid or the plug-in hybrid. Please don't just only have the 2.5 liter hybrid system on this Crown Signia because this car deserves more than that. It should have the same powertrain as the regular Crown or the Crown crossover, we call it, or a Crown sedan. That one has a 2.4 liter turbo. So that should be the engine that's in the Signia as well. So moving on, getting busy here. So we're gonna begin to wrap up. We got a Supra, which we know is finishing up. And there's a final edition that's sold in Japan, but not here. Give us the final edition here so we can finish off with some celebration in North America. Otherwise, we suspect there will be a new version of the GR Supra coming out in about 2 years' time, maybe in collaboration with the Mazda. So let's hope that is true. So my only request is don't kill the Supra. I used to own one. It's a great name. Bring it back under a true Toyota name, under Toyota Engineering, and give us something that's worthy of its name. Okay, even busier than ever. So we gotta really begin to quickly wrap up. We got GR86, which is a collaboration with Subaru, same car as what Subaru has. But this is also going to change. Rumors has it there'll be a brand new model and it'll be engineered by Toyota. So let's hope that's the case. So I have no request right now for this model because I know it's going to change. But please give us a real GR86. I don't care if it's going to be called GR86 or maybe the Celica, which is also supposed to be happening. But keep it under Toyota Engineering so it's not a collaboration model with some other manufacturers. So that's my request. GR Corolla, and now it's available in automatic transmission, all-wheel drive still. Beautiful rally car, but you know the interior is outdated. It's the same as the regular Corolla hatchback. So my request for GR Corolla, which is a very special car built in a very special factory in Motomachi, update the interior and make it look more special. That's my request to Toyota for GR Corolla. Let's go through a couple more cars here. We've got Corolla Cross, which by the way has already gone through some changes. In I think Thailand, they introduced a new version of it with a different front end. So I think that's coming to North American market, and I hope that's the case because it looks really good. The main concern I have for Corolla Cross is just feels a little bit underpowered and the steering feels a little bit loose, and it's not quite in the same class as a RAV4 hybrid or RAV4. It is a cheaper car, but I just want them to upgrade some of the powertrain, give us a little bit more power and torque again, maybe tighten the steering a bit to give a slightly sportier feel, because right now it's just too loose. There's not much sensation when you drive it. Otherwise, it's a very practical car. It's a very affordable car, but definitely underpowered. Let's make that change. Finally, we have the Corolla Hybrid, and also Corolla comes in hatchback as well. There's supposed to be a brand new Corolla in a couple of years, so my request is to bring that new version to North America, because this Corolla is also getting a bit old. It needs a lot of update. Nothing wrong with the car itself as a simple, basic sedan, but it definitely does need some changes. So let's hope that the new Corolla will be exciting and fascinating. That's what I'm hearing from Japan. So that's my only request, is bring the new version as fast as you can, because this one's a little bit getting a bit old, even the hatchback version as well. The Mirai has a bit of a difficult time right now because hydrogen fuel and hydrogen cars are not doing too well. But in Japan, you can get a Crown that's based on the Mirai with a beautiful sedan format. It's called a Crown sedan in Japan. Give us that instead of this one because that car looks amazing. And of course, with the Crown name, it brings the whole car to a higher level. So that's the only request I have for the Mirai/Crown. But I gotta wrap it up here, guys. There's too many people walking around, and there may be a few cars I missed here and there. But this is my quick take on what Toyota can do over the next couple of years to improve the lineup and make these cars and trucks much more attractive. So until next video, I'm signing off for now. Thanks so much.